Tense moments captured on security camera video last night between South Jordan police and a suspect in the lead up to exchange of gunfire.
The suspect ultimately shot and killed by officers in someone's backyard. Now, this latest incident marks the fourth fatal police shooting here in Utah in just the last 5 days. Thanks for joining us. I'm Debbie Worthen.
And I'm Dan Rascone. Last night's shooting began as a response to reports of a vehicle theft in the area of 94 South and 46 West. That's where we find news specialist Brian Carlson, who's been speaking to neighbors there who captured video of the shootout. Brian.
Dan and Debbie, the shooting took place right here in this driveway. Watching the video, it appears the suspect was hiding in his car parked along the fence. Police arrive. It appears he refuses to follow their commands, and then you hear the gunshots. And just a warning, some people may find this video disturbing.
He's running! He's running! Mike, he's running! He's running! Mike, buddy! 50 so quick! Mike, buddy! Oh.
The police shootout playing out last night right outside Delaney Bradshaw's South Jordan home.
They were in the front yard and then looked at the garage camera and then realized that, oh, it was in our driveway.
He says today you can see the bullet holes, likely left from police returning fire, left in his barbecue smoker and cement brick fence.
Boom, boom, and one more right here.
The shootout beginning with police searching for a suspected car burglar. Police say officers responded to a call of a car theft at this house around the corner, arriving to find the suspect hiding in a car at Bradshaw's home.
Exited out this way when the door was opened here.
Bradshaw says you could also see the footprints in the mud from where the suspected thief ran from police.
Step, 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 climb up.
And hopped the fence before officers chased that person down and had another shootout, but eventually captured the suspect, who later died in the hospital.
Those are ricochets.
Surprisingly, none of it phases Bradshaw at all.
I know it happened in my yard and 30 feet from the house, but honestly, still feel safe.
Bradshaw says it may hit him later, but he's always been told he's cool under pressure.
I'm not shaking. Yeah. I'll probably have some coffee, maybe a cocktail later, and think about it and just be like, wow, that was crazy.
Show me your hand!
He's simply glad no police or anyone in his home was hurt. And right now, police aren't releasing the name of that suspected thief who died, but we do know that the officers involved are on administrative leave until an investigation is completed with an officer-involved critical incident team. Live in South Jordan, Brian Carlson, KSL 5 News. Back to you.
An off-duty police officer kills a man while trying to break up a fight outside of a bar in downtown St. Louis. St. Louis police say the officer, who's from a different jurisdiction, was working security at a New Year's Eve event when the fight broke out. Fox 2's Chad Mira reports.
Not even a few hours into the new year, and dozens of people gathered right outside the wheelhouse here for a fight. And that's when security from the bar came and tried to intervene. A Ludington police officer on leave after shooting a man while trying to break up a large fight around 3 a.m.
25 to 50 people at least that were involved in the fight, numerous onlookers. There was actual contact in the fight, and there were people there that appeared to be armed.
The Wheelhouse, promoting a New Year's Day brunch online, didn't open back up. Empty bottles, wristbands, and police tape left behind. St. Louis Metropolitan Police says multiple officers from other jurisdictions were working security at the bar for New Year's Eve.
While it's very early in the investigation right now, it appears that officers potentially saved lives today with an armed person who was walking around a large fight, and officers took action.
Police say one of those officers from the Ludington Police Department shot and killed a 25-year-old after that man refused to drop a gun. SLMPD's investigating the shooting.
We pretty much honor their investigation. Right now, he won't be working until their investigation's finished.
Ludington Police Chief Jerry Hicks says that officer has 18 years of law enforcement experience.
Exemplary officer, good officer, above reproach as far as I'm concerned. He's been good for our department and good for the public.
The second person was grazed by a bullet but is expected to be okay. We reached out to the owner of the Wheelhouse but haven't heard back. Reporting in St. Louis, Chad Mira, St. Louis 11 News.
The North States News' Christina Mendez is in the newsroom tonight with what she's learned. Christina.
Mike, Shasta County Sheriff's Office deputies were called around 6 last night with reports of a man under the influence of narcotics threatening to blow up his car and trying to harm himself. They responded to a home on Bob's Mountain Road where they made contact with the man's parents, who were outside waiting. Shortly after deputies arrived, the man, identified as 52-year-old William Clark Littlefield, came outside and allegedly forced a violent confrontation. Officials say this caused deputies to fire their weapons. Deputies say they provided medical aid, but Littlefield was ultimately pronounced dead by medical staff. The Shasta County officer involved critical incident response team responded to the scene to investigate the incident. The two deputies were not injured and are now under paid administrative leave, which is standard protocol in officer-involved shootings. The sheriff's office says the incident remains under investigation. We will keep you updated on air and online as we learn more.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Faith Woodard alongside Rolly Hoyt. We begin with developing news out of Little Rock, where 3 people are now dead in 2 separate New Year's Day incidents.
Yeah, the first happened just minutes into 2025, and then police responded to the second homicide last night. That one ended when officers shot a suspect. And today, LRPD shared some new details about the incidents. THV 11's Brooke Buckner has the latest.
So far in the first 48 hours across this country, when we've seen a spike in senseless violent acts occurring across our nation, and Little Rock has seen that as well.
With 2 separate homicides in the city. First, a shooting just after midnight Wednesday that left 1 juvenile dead and 2 adults injured. Then, later Wednesday night after 8, police responded to an assault call at 2104 South State Street.
There was a vehicle that had struck a residence at 2108 South State. There was also a gas leak that was going on at the time. So that officer exited his vehicle, went to 2108 South State to try to see if there was any occupants or what was going on inside the residence. Once he entered the residence, he discovered a white female that was deceased and suffering from multiple stab wounds.
Then officers found another woman stabbed at 2104 South State. Police say she's currently listed in serious but stable condition. Shortly after that, officers found a man they believed to be a potential suspect nearby in the 1600 block of South Broadway, holding a knife and refusing to comply with police.
As a result of that individual's actions, it ultimately resulted in the officers having to deploy deadly force.
Tragedies like these are the reasons why Walter Cochran does what he does with Arkansas Stop the Violence.
I work with troubled young men to try to keep them off the streets, to try to pretty much mold them and help them in school. I would go up to the schools and work with them and just basically try to keep them out of trouble.
Because 1 life lost is too many.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to all those that are involved and have been involved and suffered a loss as a result of these senseless acts.
In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
Both officers involved in last night's shooting are on administrative leave.
As for the apartment shooting just after midnight in West Little Rock, an update this afternoon from LRPD identified some of the victims, but not the juvenile found dead at that scene. 2 people have been taken in for questioning, but no arrests have been made yet.
This may change as we learn a little bit more, but we had officers come down to this home to do a wanted check. There's a person that had felony warrants at this home. They did encounter him. We know that there was 2 officers that fired. He is deceased inside the home, and there is a gun there that isn't ours. So we're going to work and figure out if there was an exchange of gunfire, what exactly happened. But obviously when these situations occur, this is us responding to a threat. And that's pretty much what we know right now, but we'll try and learn more as we go on, get you some more tonight.
How are the officers that were involved in the shooting?
Physically, they're fine. You know, this is obviously a very traumatic incident and something that we never want to happen, but we have to deal with it when it's presented to us. We know that this is a risk that we take, but right now they're physically fine, and we'll be moving forward from there to see what we can do to help them out and help the family of everybody involved here.
Was there anyone next door at the time?
I don't know about next door. There was someone else in the home at the time, but I don't know if there were neighbors home.
Just the one person who was shot?
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody else taken into custody?
No, we've got witnesses that we're going to need to interview, and like we would any other investigation, and we've all talked about this, unfortunately, several times in the past few months. These are very involved and detailed investigations. The DCI will be inviting them to help us out here and take care of that part. But for right now, what we know is what I've shared with you, and that's all preliminary. Something may change. I expect we'll add more detail as time goes on, but this should get you through the night, and we'll get an update to you as soon as we can.
Appreciate it, Sergeant. Last question: is this the only scene involved in this, or was there any other?
Yes. As I understand it, the officers came here looking for the person with felony warrants.
Gotcha.